What's going on, everyone? Nick or Catalyst here. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. So, welcome to episode 2 of the hashtag Review My Gameplay series. It's a series in which, you guessed it, I review my subscribers' gameplay, or any gameplay rather that is submitted to me by you guys, and I give you personalized tips in hopes that things that maybe you are concerned about, maybe things that you think that you can do better, other people also feel the same. So it's really a I scratch your back, you scratch other people's backs kind of situation. So I know that this was a very popular video, at least the first episode was very popular and people were asking for more of it. So here is episode 2. And it's a little bit later than I would have wanted it, but obviously I had some other things going on, some other videos that I wanted to put out first. I really wanted to finish my montage, and I was playing a lot of the game instead of actually making videos on the game, but I'm not really much one for excuses. Today we will be talking about how to handle pressure in Battlefield 5, or really any Battlefield game in general, because sometimes the game can be pretty overwhelming. Maybe you get surprised by a tank or a whole bunch of enemies, or maybe you know a whole bunch of enemies are coming and you aren't exactly quite sure what to do or how to handle the situation. So we're going to be taking a look at, of course, some user submitted gameplay, and I will give them a shout out at the end of the video, or I guess sooner rather than later. So let's get right into it. So this footage was sent in by T Manuel, and he just titled it Battlefield 5 Gel Clip. So I'm assuming that it's a clip that something pretty nasty is going to happen at some point in the next 10 minutes or so. The clip's about 10 minutes long. So we're going to see what T has for us here. Obviously this is live gameplay. I'm going to watch this live and I'm going to come up with tips as I see them. And yeah,
shot from both sides.
you just said you got shot from both sides. I'm not quite sure how loud I'm going to have the audio, because I did watch some of it and you do speak a little bit, so I'm going to do the best with what I can. But essentially what happened in that death is you heard people behind you and you saw somebody in front of you, and there's not really much you can do in that situation besides just take the L. No, that's not much of a tip. That's probably not what you're used to be hearing, but you had the unfortunate, I guess, fortune of being out in the open when you got shot from multiple areas, and when that happens there's not really that much that you can do. I think if you would have played that life over again, I think you probably would have elected to stick more towards the cover that was on that flag, but again, that's really just rocks, and the B flag on Fagel really isn't that great in terms of cover. There's only really a couple places that you can hide. So at the beginning of this life you did very well. You grabbed a ammo pack, which is really good. It tells me at least that you know where the health and ammo crates are on the map. One thing that you just did though is that you marked the C flag by just hovering your crosshair over it and selecting it. It'll be much faster and easier if you just use the scroll wheel by holding down R1 on console. I'm not sure what it is on PC. It was a nice res there. Very well done. But marking the objective by holding your crosshair over the flag is just going to prevent your flow on the map. It's going to stop you in your tracks completely, and ideally you want to always be moving. It doesn't matter what action you're doing, you're going to always want to be moving. So this is a nice flank that you have right here. It shows a little bit better map knowledge. I don't think that you necessarily had to check people coming from there. There's somebody in the corner, and you saw him eventually. Okay, so you have the slow rate of fire. Oh, there's somebody coming from your right. Oh, let's watch what happens here. Oh! You almost got him.
Just dropping me every game. Drifted soul now. Fuck.
No, see, you almost got him in that clip, but I'll tell you what prevented you... Hold on, I'm going to wait for you to stop talking. What prevented you from getting those kills is that you elected to hip fire the first guy. Now, a big misconception, especially with SMGs, is that their hip fire is already really good. And yes, the SMGs do have better hip fire than other weapons, but unless you have the specializations, and I don't know what specializations you have on the ZK at this point, except for the fact that you don't have the extended rate of fire, you probably are going to want to aim down sights more than anything else, because it's going to hopefully get you kills faster. Oh, that is a risky res.
Hold up. Come. Give me some cover.
Oh, wow. I can't believe you got those off. Now, I can see in your inventory right now that you have an AP mine, or an S mine, whatever it's called in this game. Those reses would have been made significantly easier if you had a smoke grenade launcher instead of the S mines. I don't know if you get a kill or place an S mine anywhere in this video at any time, but it shouldn't really change my opinion. You should always want to run the smoke grenade launcher. I think that's what it's called. It's going to do you wonders playing as a medic. It's going to provide you smoke in situations like these where you're crossing open fields, and it's also going to allow you to get better cover during some more dangerous revive situations. But going back to what I was going to say about the hip fire, you should always try to aim down sights unless you know that you can legitimately not do that. Hip fire should be reserved to desperate situations, in my opinion. We are just going to
Just got 3 over here.
ignore the little aim mishap there. I'm sure you were a little. I guess I'm going to assume that you were sure that you were going to get the kill, so there wasn't a lot of urgency there, which is okay. It's another good res. And one thing that I've seen so far is that you do have a pretty good knowledge of flanks. You definitely seem to know what routes to take when you're pushing an objective. Looks like we're on the left side of the map here. Oh, you just saw somebody. Yeah, see, this is another situation when I would have tried to aim down sights. Now, looks like you're going to get the drop on him here. I totally agree with the laying down on the on the flag. It looks like you're.
And they're building it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is.
Yeah, lying down in the corner with a steen.
So this is really good. I'm actually gonna play this back really quickly in slow motion. So what you do after you get that kill is obviously you know that the enemy still does control the objective, and it appears to me like you're very tentative on where you want to go next. You go into a piece of cover, and you're analyzing the battlefield, and you run out and you automatically start getting shot. Now, this is one of the things that I really could speak to when handling pressure in gunfights. The one thing that I think you do incorrectly and that you should work on is that you turn and stop to try to find where he is instead of using your other senses that you have available to you to kind of get a ballpark idea of where he is and then get to cover and then find him again, if that makes sense. So instead of stopping, making yourself an easier target to hit and then figuring out where the guy is, which is why you lost the gunfight, is you took too long to figure out where he is. If I were in that situation, I would understand that I'm getting shot from my left through audio cues and tracer flares, or not tracers, but tracer shots that the game gives you. I would have slid into cover, and then knowing that that guy was shooting from that side of the map, I would have peeked from a different angle to see if I can find him. Because not only have you lost the gunfight, but you also died in a position that's going to be very hard for a medic to come and revive you. And this is not the first time it happened, it's just the second time that's happened thus far in the gameplay. Obviously it happened at the beginning, and it just happened again. So it looks like the enemy team does hold a majority of the flag, so you guys are actually losing by a couple hundred tickets, so let's see what you decide to do here. Okay, it looks like you are going to try and push the D flag. And again, you took your time to mark the objective with your crosshair instead of doing it with a scroll wheel, and you lost a little bit of time on a rotation. You could have been halfway to that objective by the amount of time it took you to stop and mark the objective. So it looks like, yeah, and see, you just did it there. See, that was so much faster. That was so much faster than making your crosshair go over the objective and then marking it. So that's actually a perfect example of the difference in time and speed it takes to, mark the objectives via both methods. So it looks like you're going back to revive your teammate here. He just died. I would have checked for enemy players there. I didn't quite see what he got killed by, but since he was just killed recently, you definitely want to go and kind of scout the area before giving him the revive. But it looks like he was traded out, so it's not going to be the worst case scenario in this example. Okay, you do get a kill, and it looks like you're going to get a revive, but one thing that's kind of concerning about that kill, at least to me, is that when you did find somebody there, you stood completely still, and I do mean completely still. And that's not good for winning one-on-one gunfights. You ideally want to be moving or strafing in a gunfight. It's going to help you be a little less harder to hit, and it's also going to, if you're good enough, it's going to actually help your aim when you're off base. So it looks like your team just took back the E flag. Little slide for style points there, and again, you know where the health and ammo crates on the map. You got yourself some ammo. It's really important to learn where those spots are, because you're not always going to have teammates that are going to give you health and ammo. So it looks like there's a couple of people here. Oh, this could be really, really precarious. Okay. Okay.
Coming, hold up.
Alright, hold on. I'm going to let this play out. 1 second. Is that enemy artillery or is that your artillery? It looks like that's friendly artillery at this point. Okay, so that was really nicely well done. I think that example right there also shows you the benefits that aiming down sights has over hip firing. Earlier in the video, you chose to hip fire instead of aiming down sights. You got those kills extremely quickly, and you were actually able to get both reses for the people that were down. So, in comparison to what you did earlier in the clip, you should definitely try to replicate what you did just a few seconds ago more than what you did earlier on in the video. So we are still on the flank here. Looks like your team does have majority on the flag. We're experiencing a case of classic battlefield pathing. You do a very nice job of picking up your teammates in good locations. I will compliment you on that. You make generally pretty good choices with your revives. Okay. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see how you play this. Looks like you're going to back up a little bit. Get a little bit better positioning here. Some really good map knowledge here. You know that they're probably going to be pushing this way. And you also got a squad spawn, so that was a very nice decision in terms of waiting, so you got better numbers. That was also very well done. You waited for, or you rather, you used your teammate as bait.
Dude, Jack shanked the sheep, fucking destroyed me all day. My mate Mucker, I've got him like about 5 or 6 times now.
Okay.
He'll be pissed.
Okay, let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Me, I just got a triple.
Yes, you did, sir, and that was fantastically done. And I'm going to stop and rewind and show you exactly why. That was very well done, and you probably didn't really recognize why you got that triple in the first place. And I'm going to see if I can point it out to you. Now, this is going to be a great example about handling pressure when it comes to gunfights in Battlefield 5, because I'm damn sure that you didn't know that these 3 players were coming. So take this example and compare it to 2 earlier examples in this clip. The first one on the E flag, where you jumped and you stopped and you tried to find somebody and you ended up dying, and a second instance near the bridge kind of flank area in between the D and E flag where you stopped moving. You ended up getting a kill, but it could have gone much, much worse. So looking at this first kill here, you start hip firing, but then you switch to ADS and you get your aim correct, you're going to be able to get this kill. Now, you might not know that you're actually doing this, but watch how you're moving. You are strafing towards cover, which is making it a lot harder for the enemies behind him to shoot you, and that's what's going to enable you to get these last 2 kills. So take all of that and what you just saw and implement that into what we were shown earlier in the video. It's okay if, for those of you watching at home, you have to go back and you have to watch it again, but take a look at the difference in results to what has happened in this entire video alone. Look at the results of what you get when you not only remain moving while in gunfights, but you also aim down sights instead of relying on hip fire and hip fire specializations to do your job for you.
Is it safe? I'm coming.
Is it safe? Medic's last words. Oh, and see, I'm so glad that you died here, because look at the difference in what happened. You decided to hip fire. Sure, you were a little bit surprised by the enemy there, but your hip fire not only kind of covered up where the actual enemy was because your gun is a little bit bulky, but you lost the gunfight. Instead of moving around and aiming down sights, you decided to hip fire and stay more stationary, and you ended up getting killed because of it. So I hope that gives you a pretty good idea of how to handle pressure when it comes to gunfights, what you should be doing when you're in a gunfight, and so on and so forth. And that about wraps up the video on what you should do to handle pressure when it comes to gunfights in Battlefield 5. Obviously, there are some other kind of, I guess, really obvious tips, as just remaining calm and not getting too aggressive or getting too scared when things are kind of hitting the fan. But also, just to wrap up, you need to make sure that you don't hip fire if you don't have to, making sure that you remain moving at all times and using other senses around you to kind of determine what's happening so you can better survive the situation. If you want to send in gameplay, make sure that you upload a video to YouTube, make it unlisted, and type it in a comment section of any video with the hashtag #ReviewMyGameplay. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like on it. If you are new here, subscribe for more content. Turn on post notifications if you haven't already. My name is Nick, or Catalyst, and I will see you all another time.